Morning, all. I originally scheduled this live. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to actually go live when it's already scheduled. So I need to maybe do some research on that. I thought once you enable the live, it'll automatically start. But welcome back to my channel. I'm Lena. I'm based in UK. I'm a part-time seller. I'm an expat in the UK, so I'm not originally from the UK. However, I have lived here for nearly 10 years and I have recently started a reselling business on the side with the aim to go full-time. I'm a mom to two kids, aged 7 and 8, and they're at school at the moment, and I work full-time. I'm a wife, and I work from sort of half 11 until late in the evening. And last night I had a really late night because I had a lot of work to catch up on because I was away the week before. But I still managed to get to the charity shop yesterday. I'd like to tell you more about that. So I use only one charity shop that is very local to me. And I went there and I happened to meet the manager of the area and the shops that are in my area because there are several. And what he told me, we had a chat about why other charity shops are so expensive. And I think, so he told me it's the rent. So the rent that, the charity shops have to pay if they don't own the building, it's enormous. So it makes it very expensive for them to run a charity, and they have to overprice the items. However, in that particular shop where I go, it is they own the building. So because they own the building, they don't pay rent, and it's their asset, and they accept all the stuff from other stores. Oh, hold on a second, somebody just the door. What do you know? The package has arrived, and I think I know what it is. It's the packaging. Well, somebody ordered a baking paper. It was probably not me, but this is great because I'll show you what it is. This is what I use to wrap most of my clothes and toys when they go out. I'll show you this quickly and then we're going to move on to the charity shop affair. So they are they're quite thin, and the amount of compliments I got for using sheets and bubble wrap and nice envelopes and bags and not some random packaging. Obviously, I do use random packaging. If I'm selling a one item for £1 or 150, I'm not gonna wrap it super nice and spend more money on the packaging than the item. However, if I'm selling a piece of clothing or a jacket or something really nice, that's probably over £8. That's generally the rule, over £8. They do get a nice packaging. And I've ordered some bubble wrap, but since I've actually, this is the bubble wrap. They're kind of, I think they're sheets. It's not a massive amount of rubber. I actually expected a lot more, but I managed to source lots of bubble wrap from a lady who recently moved to the area, and she is still unpacking, but she said come anytime and grab the packaging and the boxes and everything. So that was great. That was via Olio app. If you know what I need, or if you put on Facebook Marketplace, need moving boxes, need packaging, need bubble wrap, you'll have lots of people messaging you say they're only happy for you to come and take them away. So this is other sheets. They're a bit different and a bit smaller. So I've never ordered these before. And they are probably nice for smaller items, like a little figurine or trinkets or little boxes maybe, or toys. I don't know. But they're quite small and they are very thin. So I prefer this size. because that's like half of it. So definitely prefer this size for loading items, and you could put two or three on them. So that's the wrapping done. And so going back to charity shop, so that one was cheaper because they own their premises, and that's obviously important. In terms of prices, they also get lots of stuff from other shop, and they want to um, keep it moving. So they don't want to overprice; they just want to keep it moving and make the money for the hospice. So I told him that I come in regularly and that I buy a lot of stuff and I make them a lot of money. So he went to the back and he got me stuff that was lying at the back, branded clothes, toys, electric toys, vintage toys. And he was like, Ted Baker shorts, like a lots of good stuff. And I ended up spending probably about 50 or 60 pounds there yesterday. My husband spent a bit as well. And we got lots of nice stuff. So we got two items for each of us, like clothing, like t-shirts and things that we saw. We got a like nice woolly dress um, from H&M that was still brand new with tags for 2 quid. And then we got lots of toys, and one of them is actually right here. And I'm a sucker for toys now, with especially the ones with tags. But this one is it's a cat and it's a dog. I think I'm gonna show you how it is. And the way it works is you actually then and this becomes a dog. And then and what I found with the toys, obviously Disney toys and all the brands, Style toys go really well. Vintage toys, depending on condition, but like unusual toys, this is quite cute, isn't it? And if it doesn't sell today or tomorrow, I haven't listed it yet. It will definitely sell coming up to Christmas. So it only cost me £1, so I don't mind holding on to it, and I'll probably get £4 or £5 back. So, and some toys, if you want to get a bit more money, list them on Facebook. People are only happy to come and collect the toy locally because they're not paying the postage or anything. And at some point, I'll just go and I'll sit down and list all my toys. Last year, when I was coming up to Christmas, I had Stitch that I wanted £5 for, and I wasn't getting the offers of £5 because I paid £3 for it. It was brand new with tags, and I wanted to make profit on it. So I listed it on Facebook and it sold the next day, literally. And the person was so happy about it, because it says it costs 10 in the shop and they're happy to collect for 5 locally. So that was great. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what happened yesterday. I had a long day and I felt like I had so much negative energy in my work. And that sort of snowballed into it spilled into other areas. So I got a message, and I always have a positive experience with other resellers or YouTubers who also resell. But this lady, I've sent a vintage silver plated egg cup. And a spoon, which was vintage. It was in a box, but the box wasn't, what? It was new and open, but it was obviously lying around somewhere. I got it at Cardboard for £2, and I accepted an offer from her for 5.60. This is silver plated aqua cup, now vintage, and new in the box, but being lying somewhere. I mean, the box is not damaged and stuff, but because it came out of clear home clearance or something, it's not new. It's not coming from the shop on display or anything like that. Um, so and the pictures were included. Anyway, I wrapped it well. It was always goes in bubble wrap and a box. And she said that she's not happy because the box is squashed at one side and she can't resell it. So it's the first message I got from a reseller, and probably I don't know if they buy items to resell from me ever. I don't know, but wholesale is one area I'm going to focus next. I'm going to put lots and lots of items up together and target, others starting out, because a lot of people are buying stuff on Vinted to resell, and that's fine, and I'm happy to do that. Uh, I've got a good source of items now, and I'm building out more sources. And I could definitely go wholesale. And I'm also going wholesale with my jewelry business, or one wholesale, but we ran out of stock. So now it's going to restart in March. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to announce it on the channel. Uh, so that's going to be, if you want to expand your reselling business, or if you want to start with something really profitable and really small, because literally a tiny box could make you £200 in a week, easy. So, and that's with investment of probably £200 as well. So, you can double your money in a week and more, depending where you are in the country, how you want to sell. More on that later. But so with the wholesale, I plan to have lots and lots of new toys with tags. So I want to just like group them, and I probably will do like a bundle, put them as a bundle for resellers if they don't go by sort of September. Um, so what happened is, so I told her, look, this is a vintage item. It's not new. It was put as a new without tags. It was put as vintage. I did put pictures up. Also, I did wrap it well. And she was saying, and I said, this is not a wholesale platform, so you can't complain to Vinted. Um, Sorry, I can't resell this now. So, and she was, in all fairness, I don't really care if she's happy or not. That's not, she bought the item. I don't know her. I don't want everybody to be happy. I mean, and I also said to her, look, I have 2,000 five-star reviews on Vinted, and every second one of them mentions great packaging, fast drop off. So this is what I strive, So she gave me like a 1 or 2 star review, and of course, that day I had 4 or 5 orders clear, and then I had lots of five-star reviews on top of that. So it didn't really matter, because I've got so many reviews. I've been on Vinted. What helped me is because I've been on Vinted so long, selling kids' clubs and my own clothes. So it didn't really matter, but it was kind of upset me for probably 10 minutes. Um, you know, and but I just want I want to share what she said. And I also left her a kind of a 2 star review because I just said, you know, it's kind of unfair to say if she was buying it to resell, she should have said, and the box was important. She could have messaged me and said, look, if the box is intact and everything. So the reviews, she said, absolutely atrocious packaging. Be warned before you buy anything from this person, which I said, really not true. The item was brand new and sent in a box. I'm not responsible for transit and couriers. Please, please shop at Asda next time. Yeah. So, and then right behind, right under it, it's arrived quickly. It's as described, then there's a few out feedbacks. Then it says, great seller, fast delivery. Thank you so much. Um, and then people say, lovely dress and great seller, thank you. And then the 3 reviews of 4 came in after this one actually right now. So lovely sparkly dangly earrings, and they arrived quickly. Thanks, Ali. Kiss. And then the other one says, brilliant communication. Mug is brand new as specified, which was a really nice witch hat mug. And then she said, really fast delivery too. Thank you so much. And I've actually sent her a picture how I've packed the item. I put fragile tape all over it because it was a mug, and I literally dispatched it 15 minutes after she bought it. So yeah, and it was brand new mug that I bought at the charge shop for a quid. Not something I buy mugs, but I thought this is really unique and it's new. It had a tag on it at the base, and so I messaged her. I've sent her a picture how I wrap it, and I often do that. And then I, um, you know, she told me that it's a present. So great, So she said it's, and I actually got 30 likes on that mug. So I knew it was going to sell. So do you want to show me? I'll show you the mug actually. You can, if you see something like this, it's kind of witchy, spellbound kind of. It was purple and black, which was really cool. So the mug was, let me just see a picture. The Witch's Brew. So you can see it without the glare. So that was the mug. I love how he had like a little hat and the Witch's Brew. Yeah, it was excellent mug. I put all the pictures with, I think I even put a picture of the label. You see it? Yeah, I had to put a picture of the label. Yeah, so it's a small sale, bread and butter, 150 made on that. She got a really nice present. And yeah, everybody's happy apart from that person. But I moved on from that because I really had no time for it. I had a really, really hard, stressful day at work, and I didn't need that. And normally I engage with resellers and people who go to car booths. We have a nice chat, and we always leave the car booth and spaces in a good mood, uplifted, and I would recommend to everybody, build a community of resellers around them because it's beneficial. You go, which car would you go? Where have you been, etc. It's nice, and you feel like it builds that belonging and community around you, which I work from home and I don't have. Um, I work in a team that's based in US, and we don't really have a lot in common outside of work. We don't go for drinks. We don't attend the same Christmas parties, and I frankly feel quite lonely sometimes, and nobody talks about it, but reseller stuff could be really lonely sometimes because you going around sourcing items. Yes, I have a husband and I have my kids, but it's important to talk to other resellers. So this is why I started the channel to morning. Flipping Grandpa, hi, welcome to the channel. So drop me your questions. Tell me what you're doing. Are you flipping? Are you reselling already? So I'm Lena, and it's really, really windy today in Yorkshire. I don't know where you are. Tell me where you are. Um, it's so I recently met up with the Mice family. It's on my channel and it's also on their channel. If you subscribe to them, they live locally, probably like 5 minutes from me, and we hang out sometimes. We meet up at car booths and bump into each other at other shops. They go probably to the same areas to source as I do. And it's not a competition because they source different things to what I like. They would never buy art or baskets, which I love. Um, and they buy more of a kind of action figures and toys and maybe clothes. Yeah, so they don't buy so many plushies, but I love plushies. And we are sort of complementing. We saving the stuff from landfill, and that's a big part of this business. I'm very passionate about it, and I love saving items, especially when I see a really nice quality item. And I think more and more people are going like that. They really want to save stuff from landfill. Whether you dumpster diving or you reselling or you doing something vintage, or anything that doesn't end up with stuff being dumped in a landfill is good news. Is good, and makes me feel really good. So there's my friend here that I still need to list, the cutest cat toy and a dog toy in one. So I wanted to go through sales a little bit because I feel like I'm slacking with the sales. January's been okay, and I still have to figure out how to share screen on my eBay. Don't have my technical assistant here at home. He's at work. Um, and also check out the video that's coming out tonight, what I got in the charity shop. Some of it already sold, so I'll put uh, what sold for how much, etc. So on eBay, I'm lucky enough to have lots of good reviews. I had only so far 2 refund requests, and that was only because of AI. So I've used on one of the items AI description, and I didn't edit it enough. It was a phone that said it was with the box and cable, but there was no box and cable with the phone. I was happy for him to return it. I paid the label. That was my bad. And yeah, it's not a bad review. So their orders. So in I think it's 90 days. that they count. So it's 39 orders. So I've got a London clock company. It's a clock. You can see this. It's a clock. So that clock was sold. I bought it for 250 and it sold for almost £8. I accepted an offer because I didn't really want it to sit around. I sold a clock like that the week before to a gentleman in France. Hey, thank you for saying hi. Yes, nobody was on, but there was actually so many views when it went live. I think people just at work and they watch later in the day. Uh, then I sold Practica Sports Zoom binoculars. And actually, I sold them on Vinted at the same time or like a little bit earlier. So I don't use the listing monster because I don't really have the funds for it at the moment. And then, yeah, so I had to cancel the eBay sale. Unfortunately, that's not something I would ever recommend doing. Then a strange one. So a friend of mine gave me this book years ago, and it's a Russian book called Master and Margarita. So it's a classic by Bulgakov. And I thought, it's a hardcover with some illustration, and I thought I'll list it for £10. I looked it up and it was legit. People were selling. There wasn't many of them going. And I listed it on Vinted. I got 7 likes, but nobody bought. And then I put it on eBay and it sold within 3 days for 9.25. So yeah. Then I bought this painting of two horses, and anything horses sells really well. So there's painting of kind of light acrylic painting on canvas, two horses, and I sold that for 3.99 because it was in quite a bad condition around the edges, but the frame would hide it. The painting itself was fine, so I put that into description that is kind of a satisfactory, and yeah, it sold. People love horses. And then Sony Ericsson vintage working mobile phone. Again, he's returning that. I did sell it then. A few days before, I sold the metal detector. So bought for 6, sold for 39. And it was just Milek. I think it was the second one like that. It's in the box. It was in the box and it was hardly used. And, we used it, but it wasn't what we were looking for. It wasn't picking up like small things. So my son already had a metal detector, so I put it up for sale. And you can't keep everything. So then my daughter got this cute little frame at the car boot for free. Somebody just gave it to her. So that went, she doesn't really need a frame for anything. For 4.35, accepted an offer on that. Then the Asus wireless modem router. I don't know if anybody uses that, but I picked it up for £2. It was in the box. Asus was a good brand, I figured. So that's all for 9.99, from £2 to 9.99, not a bad thing. And then I've now sold 2 typewriters, and that's sort of within the space of 2 weeks. So that was a Smith Corona portable vintage typewriter with a case, sold for £35. I saw the coffee machine. So that was £3 from Bradford Airport car boots, and picked it up for £3 and sold for 30. I love this sort of, and I got a really, really nice review from this gentleman who said it was well packaged. Again, that keeps coming up. And he said it works as described and it's practically new, but it wasn't new. I've said it was used, but it was in a great condition. And yeah, so there was nothing much to report from eBay. However, I did have some sales on Vinted. So Vinted, let me get there. So, and I'm going to have to start work soon. So I'm going to have to, unfortunately. So again, I picked up this Russian Monopoly game, and foreign books sell really well on Vinted for me. So it was a brand new sealed game, and I sent it off today. So I bought it for 3 and sold it for 6. Originally, I thought I would be able to get about 15 for it because I checked eBay and they were going for about 12 to 15. but no. So I had to accept an offer. I had it since summer, so I had to go, and I have way too many board games that I picked up. And then British Auto Legends hardcover book. I know. It's a kind of like a really massive book. They picked up for £1 and sold it for two. Um, then from the charity shop, it was a £1 Oasis grey jumper. It was a cute little jumper. I thought it was good. It had like sort of birds on it. 2.49 quick sale, and I mostly do these little sales to help charity. There's nothing else. There's very little profit in for me, and it doesn't pay for my time, getting it, washing it, photographing it. But I do it for the charity because I think it helps them, and they're willing to help me to give me better stuff at the back and all sorts. Then it was Cat Card Heritage Short. So this one was 100% cotton, so bought for two and sold for six. Very nice. Then I had another little pink cardigan, very good condition, for £1, and I sold it for three. Again, I just thought rather than, and then there was a really good one. It was curtains. So I never picked up curtains, and I did. And they were from Dunelm, so really good brand, nice kind of grayish color. You see the pattern, and it was a pair of curtains. There's absolutely no fault, no nothing with them, no stains, no smell. And I put them up for £8, and they were gone straight away. I paid £2 for them. So if you see curtains, and then another one. So I was a bit disappointing with the Peter Rabbit costume. Um, I knew the World Book Day is coming up, and I thought that'll be brilliant. But I paid £3 for it, and then when I get home on Vinted, they were selling very identical ones for £2 or 2.40. But I said I chance it, and I listed it for 3.99 because I have like 4,500, 5,000 followers on Vinted. So, and I sold, 99p profit. You know, I help charity. It's great, and that was most kind of recent. Another one from the charity shop was a pair of trousers. I bought it for £1. They were tailored. Next, size 14, always big size. I know, I put the picture upside down. Look how hilarious it is. But she still bought them. She made an offer of 3.20, and boom, gone. £2.20, small profit. Um, Then I had another River Island dress that I actually bought for myself for £5 or £6 years ago, and I sold that for £4. So nice money coming back. And then I saw the really big French Connection cozy jumper, also charity shop find for £3, and it's a grey cozy neat. I think people still need those, and they are buying them. That was £3 profit. So yesterday alone, I totaled up. I made about £25 profit on what I sold. And most of it was from the haul that I did yesterday at the charity shop, and a few other things like clock that was from the car boot. But I think we know realistically, if I can get to £100 in profit, not in sales, I'd need about 150, 160 in sales to make about 90 to 100 of profit. I'll probably hand in my notice and leave my job because I'm really, really not happy. So that's the plan for the next 3 months. And actually, I have 3 months notice as well. So the sooner this can happen, the better. I'm waiting for the sales to pick up a little bit. I'm probably going to list a bunch of items on Facebook tonight just to get things going and, benefit the local buyers as well. I've got a lot of stock now, and I don't need to go sourcing, but I will be going to the car boot on Sunday. The carport I haven't been before. Well, I have been once before in the summer, and it didn't go well for me. However, I did manage to sell everything I got there in the end. So I will go and see what they got. And also, it's a kind of indoor one. So, whatever the weather, it's a little bit further out than the one I normally go to. So it'll probably take me 45 minutes to get there. However, it'll be fine. And there's a nice little cafe there as well. Yeah, it'll be a morning out with the kids. um, and the husband as well. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing a live or a vlog, but I'll certainly show you if I get anything, and I might even do a short or something. So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning. And, I hope you subscribe and like a few of my videos. It helps the channel grow. And I'll see you next week for another live. Have a nice day.